But we impose these things on our past. What do you think is real? Is the past more real than the future? Or is the future more real than your past? Both are making demands on you. You're trying to live in the moment. So the fight between the past and the future, between the home and the purpose you're going to, it puts stress there. So that stress often, it's normal to you if you got it. You know, that's just the way it is. But a lot, it can play out somewhere. It can play out between your relationship between your mom and you, between your mom and your dad, between growing up and coming out of the house, or growing up and not getting out of the house, or how you're going to do this, or what you're going to do, or can you do anything if you don't get mom's blessings? Or is it totally wrong to do something for yourself in spite of your mom's blessing? Well, it's huge puzzles and challenges, and we grow through this texture. People that don't have this aspect, they're a little more comfortable. They're not in such a stressed relationship between past and future. At the same time, between memory and purpose. But at the same time, the stress between your past and your future really allows a lot of growth and a lot of things to be changed in your life. It gets stressful from the moon. I mean, the sun more affects the moon and challenges the moon to live up to get ready for the future, to grow up, to go out and do things. But the moon, in the form of habits and memories that we project as real, that we hold on to as our security blanket, and this is my blanket, this is my security, puts a veil, puts the blanket over the sun and dampens the unconditional radiance and says it can only happen if this is there, or I won't let this in. We often, mostly we stop our own, we diminish, we hold on to our habits and diminish. We aren't ready to go up to be our sun, to go into the future and just radiate. Or just be confident. But a lot of times your confidence, if you think it's just coming from the past, you may never have enough to go forward. If you just think it's going towards the future, and you may not get confidence from the past, you'll have to go out and get out of the house to make your own life happen. But even then, you need to have a home. You feel secure and you eat right. There's struggles between the sun and the moon. When there's stress there, that's a very powerful dynamic. And lots of people have the sun conjunct square or opposed the moon. We can get into the phases or different aspects of these things, but just when we're looking at a chart and you see that stress factor, the moon, you know there's a struggle with the past and the future. To get forward, you can't just rely on the past. But you could try to empower. It's important. I can take care of the past. And the past may be sitting there saying, you're not taking care of me. You're not doing what I want. But I'm doing what I want. But it's not doing what the family. And they're going to be stressed like this. It's going to affect how much you're ready to take on. It's going to affect your confidence. So if you don't have the stressful aspects, the moon isn't going to be that big of a problem. But sometimes you can get a complacency or an easiness or a laziness from a sextile trine to the sun. And a habit can just sit there comfortably without a problem, and it still can interfere with the sun without any hassles because of it. Memories basically are the opposite direction of the sun. So there's naturally an opposition between the moon and the sun, a stress factor. It just gets more extreme or less extreme. The new moon and the full moon are the high tides of the month. They're the two extreme times where the water is pulled and the whole water around the earth, it's like an egg. It's not like a circle. When it's square, it's a bit more like a circle. The magnetic field, the pattern's there. So in a funny way, the moon pulls up the water from the earth. It pulls up the water through the stems, from the roots, up through the roots, up through the stems to the leaves of plants. Nothing would grow without that. And the sun radiates and heats it, makes it grow. Wow. Together, the balance of having proper nutrition and being able to grow. There's only so long you can work on diet before you have to live and put the diet to the test. But it's integrating these two things. And when you have stress factors there, it's not so easy. The feelings of family, your sense of security becomes really importantly involved in your sense of confidence. And these feelings are your memories, your reflections, your psychic senses. These are all picked up by the moon. That's our normal. It's where we're coming from, where we're going to, who I'm going to be. That's our sun. Most people live in their moon and they don't graduate to their sun. They don't trust it enough. That's their choice. That's their karma, but circumstances will conspire one way or another to make you play, to make you radiate, to take your best stand. And the different attitudes of the signs come in and affect how this is done. So we looked at the moon. We're looking from the sun now, from your confidence, so your habits, your bad behaviors, the nutrition, all the things of the past that got you here in this moment. So like you could say conception is the beginning of life, but really it's not, because it's the health and the nutrition of both mother and father for a couple of years, even before conception, to prove how well their DNA is and how well their health is, that will condition the DNA of that child. And the conception is just the contact that pushes things across, but really there's other factors that determine how well that contact is going to be and then how far it goes. And on top of that, we have karma across lifetimes of things we have to come in and take care of that's blocking our sunlight. We have to find our sun. Everybody has to find their sun and their confidence. Everyone has the ability to radiate love. Everyone can smile. When anyone who's clear and happy in the moment, they're radiating their confidence at any age, at any time. If they weren't, nothing would be there. But we get that light and we channel it into the moon and each of the other planets. And often we put too much power and too much expectation into the sun, into the moon. And then we're thinking already, or we're feeling that the radiant light is all for that purpose, and it's not. So it requires some discrimination to be yourself, to stand, to go into the future, to come from the past, be able to be in the moment without past or future and say, hi, how you doing? So it's a puzzle. There's going to be struggles happening with a mother having difficulty, and you're growing up with that and not getting all the attention you want, or you might get too much attention or too little. It can hit your health, it can hit your nutrition, it can hit just the places that you live, it can hit the habits. I got to live rich, I got to live poor. It can hit all the different ways. There's so many ways we come in to life. Mothers, we come through. That's our body, but our spirit radiating, our confidence radiating, that's our sun. You know, like we're in a body, we kick and scream because it's not expressing everything we want to express. The sun's bursting to go with the, I can't wait till I go up, I can't wait till I can stand up. When I stand up, I can't wait till I can walk, till I can run, till I can do things. And yet the society and the people around us have conditions on how much we feel you can do or not do. You know, I want you to build up your confidence in certain ways so you won't run into difficult things. It's partly valid, but still, even parents, even you as a parent, might not trust your family enough, might not trust your kids enough to have their own experience and go radiate and learn from it. To control the kids so much that they're afraid of love or afraid of trying, of connecting with people and radiating. We try and direct it. At the same time, sometimes without any direction, kids wouldn't live. So in one way, we have to do this. Another way, what's the best way? You just have to, you can do the best of everything you do and still it can go up and go differently. So this is the puzzles of this moon to the sun. I don't really have a word or a name for it. I see it there, and then I puzzle with it in my life, and as I'm going over my life and looking, I see the places that it's there. I see it's always there in a certain way. I can try in my confidence, my Libra sun, to not allow my personal sympathies and moods to impose too much on other people that I share with. As soon as I say that, I realize like my moon in Cancer is going to impose that no matter what. My son Lee was trying to be sharing a favor, but I can share everything with you, but I need you to be secure. So like someone who would have the moon and Capricorn would be different, but you can see the stress factor with the sun and moon. The past is fighting the future. The left eye is fighting the right eye. You know, so you get 3D because you get the two different perspectives coming together. So we get depth perception from looking from our two eyes, from seeing the past and the future. So much is built up on this, but it's all based on how do you get confident. The minute someone's not confident, it hurts your heart to see. Or it makes you mad, or other. There's all kinds of ways you can react to it. So things trigger off to affect each one plus, but the moon is basic. Habits, lifestyle, home, security, feelings of security, connections with one's mom or one's with family, and the sense of what habits you have, how you feel you should live, or how you feel you can't live, what you eat, what you don't eat. Wow. Moon's always changing. And the sun keeps shining, and this still has the willpower to go forward. I remember seeing an old cartoon, and this guy was lying on his deathbed, and everyone's standing around waiting for him to die, waiting for him to die. And just before he dies, he sits up for a minute, and he hits somebody, slaps someone, says, "Last tag," and dies. He won the game. Anyways, it's you still have a willfulness even when you're older, and you're not playing the same as the kids or the grandkids or whatever. You have a sense of what's important. You have a sense of where we're going to, but your sense of where you're going to is not necessarily the sense of all the family and where they're going to. Sometimes it aligns. And every year you get words together, you count your blessings. But usually you're in and you're working with it. Oh, I want to have a kid. Oh, geez. You don't measure it in how many diapers you have to change, or how many times you have to clean things, or what you have to do and all the work to maintain that. It's enough to make someone depressed. But even your depressions and moods and habits come in and affect your sense of purpose. I mean, you want to see that. You look at people and you see, how come they're always talking about family? How come they were imposing their worries and their personal security concerns on you and on other people? Well, most of us do that. How much can you take? Thinking you should, thinking you will, I will do this, you go back into that thing. But really, in the end, your own heart has to beat. It's like in the airplane. If the mask comes down, put the mask on yourself before you put it on your kids, because you're no good if you pass out. Your heartbeat has to beat for yourself. Love is something you have to radiate yourself, not something you expect from other people. It comes when you're given, unconditionally. Okay, sun, moon. Yeah, there's lots more ways I could take it, but this is that's enough for now. We're going to get to the Mercury. So, like, each of the inner planets are one of our spiritual battles. And why? Because they put veils on the sun. And the sun is our heart and our meditation, and our sun is our radiant meditation, our clear heart, our clear will. It's incredible. It can overcome anything. Whew. It can't stop someone else from dying. It can't stop you from dying. But it can guide your light, and you can put your light out. If you're putting light out into the world, what a different memory than if you're trying to fight it with one of the planets and hold it back and not giving the sun enough importance.